Hi everyone. Today I'll be talking about the month and the year that I was born. I was born on July 19th of 1994. It was hard to research information on this month and year because it did not seem like a lot of important things have happened. I have researched some basic price facts that I thought everyone would be interested in. It seems like the amount of prices has changed tremendously over the years. I never realized how big of a difference the prices were until I looked them up. The cost of a new home in July of 1994 was $124,400. Compared to now, the price of a new home is $296,400. A gallon of gas in July of 1994 was $1.11. Compared to now, it's between $2.50 and $3. A cost of a dozen of eggs was 87 cents. Compared to now, it's at least $2, possibly more. A gallon of milk back then wasn't too cheap. It was $2.88, but compared to now, a gallon of milk is almost $4. The president back in 1994 was Bill Clinton. Some important events or just interesting things that happened. On July 18th of 1994, Crayola announced that they had their scented crayons coming out. I know when I was a kid, I was happy that my parents got me scented crayons, so these must have still been a huge success back then, and I think they're still a huge success now. Also, in July of 1994, the O.J. Simpson case was going on, and it was starting to arise. I'm sure many of you guys know what happened with that case, but I didn't realize how much happened just in 1 month with that case and how much it moved up. Starting on July 13th of 1994, this is when O.J. Simpson was charged with the murder and he had to give his hair samples. A little bit later on that month, this is when O.J. Simpson offered a reward of $500,000 for somebody to give evidence of the murder of his wife. And then finally, by July 22nd of 1994, this is when he pleaded 100% not guilty. This is still an event to this day that people debate about. Now, I'm also not a huge sports fan, and I've never really been into sports, but in July of 1994, the Major League Baseball Players Association began their 232-day strike, causing the 1994 season to be canceled, and I'm sure this disappointed a lot of people. Some weather announcements that happened in the month of July was a huge tornado outbreak that occurred in southeastern United States. I'm not sure how serious it was. I couldn't find a lot of information on it, but tornadoes are dangerous, so I'm sure this affected a lot of people. Another huge weather outbreak was a violent wildfire that destroyed 286,000 acres of land in Montana. I'm sure this was a terrifying time for many people, and this is a lot of land that was destroyed in such a short amount of time. Music has always been popular, and it was very popular back then. The top 3 songs back in July of 1994 were The Sign by Ace of Base, I Swear by All For One, and I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men. I've never heard any of those songs, but I'm sure back in the day they were super popular. Forrest Gump was also released in July of 1994. I always thought it was older than that, so when I found out that's when it was released, I was really shocked. But I know that this movie is still popular. When I was in high school, I had to watch it, and a lot of my friends know about it. I watch it at home, too. But a lot of people still talk about that movie. They still think it's hilarious. I also researched a bunch of other movies that were released. I personally never seen these movies. I'm not a huge movie person, but I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen them. They are Baby's Day Out, Blown Away, The Shadow, The White Buffalo, Angels in the Outfield, True Lies, The Client, Lassie, Barcelona, It Could Happen to You, and then there's a lot of more movies, but I just listed a few. Another movie that was released, which was also the most viewed movie in the month of July of 1994, was The Mask. I heard that's a really funny movie, so that's probably why. As for books, In the Kitchen with Rosie by Rosie Dale, that was one of the best-selling books that month and that year, so that's awesome. And then I decided to look up the number of people that also share my birthday, and it was a huge number of 385,000 people. And I know people are born every day, but I never realized, like, that's a lot of people for one day. So I learned a lot of interesting things looking this up about the year I was born. I hope you guys learned a lot as well and enjoyed this video. So thanks for watching.